Today we were leaving the Mashwala Peninsula on what was typically a very sunny day. However, my adventures in the Bay of Antongil are not yet finished, and on the way back to Mount Setra we were stopping off at a small island nature reserve known as Nosy Mangabe. But on the way there, we came to a halt, for a good reason. A pod of humpback whales. The Bay of Antongil provides warm and shallow waters, which is why every summer humpback whales migrate from Antarctic waters to northeast of Madagascar. They do this in order to rear and give birth to calves, which is why Mount Setra calls itself the capital of Wales. Nevertheless, we had to carry on as we didn't want to lose time on Nosy Mangabe. We soon pulled up on its stunning and secluded shores, in which we soon started trekking and exploring its forests. We started off at Nosy Mangabe's bamboo forests, where we met one of its smallest and most colourful inhabitants.
So we're on Nosy Mangabe, and in amongst this small bamboo forest we have found a tiny little frog. This is a yellow-backed mantella frog, and it can only be found in this northeastern region of Madagascar.
Mantellas are a group of small frogs that can only be found in Madagascar. This yellow-backed mantella, also known as a green-backed mantella, is one of them. The females like to lay their eggs in the hollows of bamboo stalks, which is why they are so commonly found around bamboo. These little frogs don't rely on camouflage so much. Instead, they present bright colours on their back, warning any predators that it holds a nasty poison. As we continued around the periphery of the island, we came across a species of animal that solely relied on camouflage. A leaf-tailed gecko. These large geckos, whom we've met before, are the kings of camouflage. Nosy Mangabe is one of the best places to see these animals, as there is a huge lack of birds which are their main predator. When observing these animals during the day, you'll always find that their head is facing downwards. So why do they do this? Lying head down actually prevents the sun from reflecting off their eyes, and thus makes them even more difficult to be found by predators. As if they weren't hard enough to find already. It was now beginning to get very hot, and we soon headed off the slopes of Nosy Mangabe's hills. This was where we came across a new species of lemur. This small troop of white-fronted brown lemurs were basking in the sun, taking a break from foraging. White-fronted brown lemurs can only be found in the northeast of Madagascar. They are also distinctively sexually dimorphic. This means that males and females visually differ from each other. The males have attractive white heads, whilst the females unfortunately are just plain brown. Whilst at the moment they seemed pretty inactive, this soon changed as we stopped to eat.
Looks like we got some visitors for lunch.
The white-fronted brown lemurs were back, and this time it was a different troop. The females were particularly crafty, and seemed to be leading the raid. They were edging closer and closer to the food, and they soon had us surrounded. But thankfully these charming animals were showing no signs of aggression. Although eventually one of the troop's bold males decides enough is enough. Seeing that everyone was distracted with the females, he darted straight for the food. He certainly seemed pretty pleased with himself that he managed to steal something, and he soon darted away, with the troop's other male eagerly chasing after him. although I wonder how long it'll take for him to realise that he only managed to steal a piece of cloth. With the males now occupied, the females began to sneak in and try their luck, although they weren't quite as successful. Although at this point one of the males, who discovered that the cloth didn't taste so good after all, soon came back in a strop. So perhaps not so successful at stealing food today, but thankfully there's always tomorrow.